Hello and welcome then to day three's project update. Apologies that there's no video clip. A little bit drained in my hotel bed here, and just wanted to give you a very quick update as to some of the thoughts that are going through my head and some of the plans for the coming days. So firstly, lots of images from yesterday, especially in the evening, walking through the slums and seeing that in 2014. And I also really wanted to give some cash, but that's not a good thing to do because then they expect that from everyone that walks through the slums, and it kind of fuels the problem. So I would really like to go back this weekend and make sure that that old lady who is sick in the bed there has the medicine that she needs, and if there's anything else that can be done to help her, especially to feel more comfortable there. Also, the other thing that I find very difficult to reconcile is children living in a not so good environment, which many of us wouldn't even want to walk through, let alone live in. And so I think some building materials are quite cheap. This is outside of the project. I'll do this myself, I guess. And yeah, I want to go back and give some building materials and make sure the old lady has some medicine, and to make sure there's nothing else small like that. And the other thing was the clean drinking water, to perhaps give a container that can do that properly. So there's some of the thoughts that came out of last night, which surprises me because that's been occupying my head quite a bit today. Meanwhile, today I've been doing some more activities with the children, both at the orphanage and at the Children Protection Centre. I'm also starting to think about how to perhaps use the funds raised that we've raised in this project. And education plays a really big part here, and I think it would be great to pay for more children to go through the schooling of the next semester. So I'll be sharing some specific clips on the schools and what the children think of the schooling as well. I did some interviews today with some of the smaller children at the Protection Centre to find out what they thought of the schooling, what they enjoyed. So I'll be sharing that with you in the coming days, so you know where the money's going towards. I also wanted to find out about life at the orphanage, so I'll be doing another clip about the orphanage from the perspective of children and helpers and volunteers that go there, so you'll see some pieces on that. And an idea that came about today was, how can we convince children to move off of the street and take up the opportunity of the centre? And one idea is that maybe we create a montage of clips from people that have come from the street and are now in the centre, and get them to say on camera why other street children should follow their footsteps and join them in the centre, because they made that transition successfully, and maybe they're the best people to convince other children to follow them. It's not such an easy situation because they're on the street and they're in difficult situations, because generally one thing that can happen is that people go and pay their families and say that the child will have a good job in the town. Child comes here, ends up in not such a good job, basically being sold for sex and things like that. To cut a long story short, they end up on the street, and sometimes the families are threatened too. So it's a very difficult situation for people to escape. There's also a lot of children on drugs and that kind of thing too. So I think it would be good for the children in the centre who have made that transition to convince others to follow their footsteps. So we're going to give that a go. And then I'd like to collate that next week. And also we're going to do a clip for parents who want to adopt children. So 500 children have been rehomed over the years. 0 have been returned. So if these children can find new families and new futures, then that's good too. And one thing that we can help towards is creating some collateral to explain the process and what's available and what's not possible in these things to both European and Thai families. So we'll do that in English and Thai. So that's some of the ideas for next week. Saturday there's a big party at the Children Protection Development Centre. It's their late Christmas party, so I'll be sharing that with you. And also I'll share with you what I plan to do for the slum, and there's some of the thoughts. But yeah, hopefully this will do for an update for today. Thank you very much for your support, and speak soon.